What's good, everybody, and thank you so much for stopping by the channel once again from us over here at Locust&WildHoney. So as I've already stated previously in the past, I have this tendency to always be shopping on my free time. I'm generally not always buying stuff, but more so just looking for really good deals. Needless to say, I've kind of accumulated a few vintage tees over the past 3 years. I want to say my collection is right around 30 vintage tees. For the most part, I remain pretty selective about what I purchase, but I'll get into that in just a little bit. I did want to start out this video with showing you kind of what I've been purchasing over the past month. And then after that, I did want to go over what I personally do to acquire these shirts, because a lot of you guys have been commenting on my pictures and stuff like that, asking me where I get my vintage shirts. As you guys already know, here at Locust&WildHoney, we give the people what they want, and we're gonna be talking about how I get my vintage tees, how I get them for so cheap, and where I get them. To start out this video, I will be going through my recent purchases, but I will be going relatively quickly so that way I don't keep you for too long, and that way we can kind of move over to what you probably want to hear more about, is where and how I purchase my t-shirts. And without further ado, let's go ahead and look at the first one. So you can see here, this is a Nascar T-shirt. Now, what really drew me to this specific tee to begin with is actually just the color scheme. Now, when I'm shopping for vintage tees, I think to myself what I would wear with it, what it would go with, what sneakers, and so on. And so that's kind of my thought process. Also, font is really big to me. The way that it's designed and things of that nature play a huge factor. If the font's not right, then I'm probably not gonna get the t-shirt. It's really difficult to find white t-shirts in the vintage world that are actually clean. A lot of the times, like, you know, different colors will bleed onto white t-shirts and then it ceases to be white. So this one was such a good cop for me. I actually really love this tee. I actually ended up purchasing this t-shirt for $8 shipped. So a very good price in my opinion. Of course, I mean, that's pretty normal when it comes to vintage tees if you're already about vintage shopping and you guys already do this stuff. But yeah, definitely a good price for this t-shirt in my opinion. Very clean, and it's definitely one I look forward to wearing all the time. This next one here, I did pay a little bit more for, but it's definitely worth it in my opinion. It's obviously two-sided, so sick. Limp Bizkit was a brand that I used to listen to all throughout, like, I want to say it was middle school. Yeah, it was middle school. Wasn't exactly the most appropriate stuff for my age, but hey, I wasn't saved just yet. But yeah, definitely such a sick tee. A lot of you guys commented and complimented this t-shirt. I ended up paying a bit more for this because obviously band tees are a bit more trendy and stuff. I want to say I paid $35 for this, which I believe isn't a bad price. Next up, we have this Harley Davidson Tee, which actually is one of my favorite vintage tees at the moment. Just because the graphic is so sick. As you can see here, there's an eagle there and it's like flying in front of the moon, which makes it look like a skull. I just think that was pretty cool. The colors are so dope. The way the sky kind of blends into the horizon there. You got the biker and stuff like that. On the back here, it's just a beautiful picture of a lake here. Just really nice looking. Colors are just really vibrant and stuff like that. One thing that I did want to say is when I'm shopping for Harley Davidson tees specifically, I really go for like not going for the standard emblem. I have like a bunch of shirts like that and I find that I seldom wear them. So yeah, that's definitely one thing I take into account. Now this tee is just so perfect. It's aged, the color, everything. Like, I love this t-shirt. It fits amazingly. Definitely one of my favorite vintage tees at the moment. And get this, I paid $10 shipped for this thing. So very happy with this acquisition. It's a size extra large if you guys are wondering. Moving on to this next t-shirt. Another really cool t-shirt. This one is a bit more aged. There's a lot more cracking, which I don't necessarily mind too much, just because I love the checkerboard aspect here in the background. The font's really sick. Just a really old style feeling shirt. Very sick. Here on the back, yeah, just really cool font and stuff like that. Also a $10 pickup, so not bad at all. And lastly, I have this Pink Floyd t-shirt. Again, with the band tees, it's gonna be a little bit more pricey just because they're a bit more trendier and stuff like that. For this one, I did pay $25. I do believe I did overpay. Nothing on the back here. The reason why I did purchase it is just because of the color scheme. It's so easy to wear. You have the gray, obviously, and then just like different shades of gray that comprise the graphic of the t-shirt. So this is definitely one that you can easily, you know, layer with and stuff like that, and it'll look good. So it's just versatile, which is why I ultimately purchased it. Okay, so as promised, we're gonna go ahead and talk about how I personally shop for vintage tees. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, like full transparency, I thought to myself, man, this is gonna make it a lot harder for me when I'm shopping for vintage tees, but we're out here to help each other. Number one, always ask for the length as well as the chest width. A lot of times people buy vintage tees kind of aimlessly and blindly, so make sure you get the length as well as the width to get an accurate depiction of how it's gonna actually fit on body. Obviously, these numbers are gonna be rendered useless if you don't have a t-shirt to compare relative to. So what I personally do is I have measuring tape here, and I've measured my favorite fitting t-shirt. I just measured across the front where the chest is, as well as the length, and I kind of use that as a rubric to when I shop online. Now, I know a lot of you guys don't have measuring tape, or you're just too lazy. One thing that I also do, say if I like forget what my favorite measurements are or whatever, what I'll actually do is think about a shirt that I really do enjoy, like the Gildan fit tees. Like I really like how Gildan fits. What I'll do is get an approximation, like online, you can literally Google image the width of the chest of those t-shirts. It's so easy to find, as well as the length. Now, I don't always make it so it's like exactly the same measurements. Of course, like, you know, say you don't like the length of the Gildan shirt, so you can subtract a few centimeters or an inch or so off of that, and that can kind of be your target goal for the measurement. The next thing I would say to you guys is to not overpay, or at least try your best not to overpay. Generally, these people are paying $6, $7, $8, $10, $15 even, and they're selling them for like 200 bucks, which is crazy to me. It's a very lucrative like business in some respects. I mean, at the end of the day, a t-shirt, a vintage t-shirt is only worth as much as what the market is willing to pay. Now, a really simple and practical way to kind of alleviate yourself from having to sift through like the highly priced and coveted t-shirts is to understand the market and what's on trend. Obviously today, it's like the band tees are mad expensive. The rapper tees, you know, the vintage rap tees, super expensive, which is totally understandable. Nowadays, I actually don't shop for those specific type of tees at all. It's very seldom that I'm trying to get a band tee or a rap tee, just because they're highly priced. Just a bunch of tees that haven't really gone super mainstream, so the prices aren't bad. I can tell you for sure the Nascar tees, like they're going for really cheap, so I definitely give that a look once you finish this video. Another tip that I would give you guys when you're in search for vintage tees is to actually search up things that are nostalgic to you. As I kind of already highlighted earlier, the prices are really based on what the market is willing to pay. Now, if the market doesn't know about a certain genre, TV show, band, whatever, then that is all yours, up for grabs, and that could be something that you make cool, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, what makes vintage tees so cool and alluring is just the nostalgia of it. It brings along a story. The last tip I have for you guys isn't necessarily selective to vintage t-shirts, but just for eBay in general. When you're shopping on eBay, guys, wait till like the very last 7 seconds. This is something that I do before an auction is done, and then just snipe it at the very end. This is the best way to get your item at the lowest price possible. I can't even tell you guys how many times I've been able to just snipe things at the very end for well below what I was initially willing to pay. So it's just something to kind of take into consideration. Also, do not be afraid to offer. I generally only pay about 60% of the asking price, so that's definitely something to take into account as well. Anyways, guys, that's gonna do it for today's video. Hopefully you found it somewhat helpful. I know a lot of you guys are gonna be mad at me because I just made buying vintage tees on eBay is a little bit tougher. Or maybe a lot of you guys found this to be really common sense and it didn't really help anybody. Either way, hit the thumbs up if you did enjoy the video. Comment down below what you guys thought. I'd be more than happy to do more tips of purchasing different things. And as I end every video here at Locust&WildHoney, I'm gonna say peace and be blessed.